Welcome to the EQ video tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. Glad to have you again, as always, on our show. We've got a great double feature today. We're going to jump into the goals of EQ video tip, and then we'll get started with this amazing double feature today. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about habits of exceptionally likable people. This comes to us from Travis Bradberry of Forbes magazine. Now, these habits of likable people, too many people succumb to the mistake and belief that likability comes from natural, unteachable traits that only a few lucky people have. And in fact, these aren't necessarily true. People think, this person's good looking, or they're fiercely social, or they're incredibly talented. But in fact, it's very easy to fall prey to this misconception. In reality, likability for anyone is under your control, and it's a matter of emotional intelligence, or EQ, as we like to talk about here on EQ Video Tip. In a study by UCLA, subjects rated over 500 different adjectives based on the perceived significance of likability. And the top rated adjectives, believe it or not, had nothing to do with being gregarious or intelligent or even attractive. Instead, the top adjectives were sincerity, transparency, and other things that describe people who are skilled in the social side of emotional intelligence. We're going to jump in this great double feature about these different types of habits that people who are emotionally intelligent use to be more likable. Hopefully you can use a few yourself. Tip number 1. High likable people ask a lot of questions. The biggest mistake when it comes to listening is they're so focused on what they're going to say next that people don't actually listen to what someone else is saying, and they don't actually hear what's said. A simple way to avoid this is to ask a lot of questions. People know that you're listening, and they like to hear that you're asking simple clarifying questions because it shows that you're not only listening, but you care about what they're saying. Tip number 2. I got a text. It's actually tip number 2. They put away their phones. Nothing turns someone off mid-conversation like a text message or even a quick glance at your phone. When you commit to a conversation, focus all of your energy on that conversation. You'll find that the conversations are more enjoyable and more effective when you immerse yourselves in them. So try putting away your phone to increase your likability. Tip number 3, they're genuine. Being genuine and honest is essential to being likable. No one likes a fake, and people will gravitate towards those who are being genuine because they know they can trust them. Now, it's difficult to like someone when you don't know who they really are or how they really feel. So take a moment to open up about yourself. It's okay to be a little vulnerable, and if you're not exactly the same as someone else, that's okay. What matters most is that you're genuine to who you truly are, and people will gravitate to that approach. Our next tip, they don't pass judgment. If you want to be likable, you need to be open-minded. Being open-minded means you're approachable and interesting to others, and no one wants to have a conversation with someone who just has already formed the opinion before you even started. In the workplace, being open-minded means being approachable to new ideas and new concepts, at least listening to them, and eliminating perceived notions and judgments before you actually hear the whole argument or idea that comes before you. It's hard to come with an open mind, but take a moment to not pass judgment before you start talking to someone. It will open up a whole new world of EQ for you if you don't pass judgment. Our last tip, they're consistent. Few things make you more unlikable than when you're all over the place and scatterbrained. When people approach you, they like to know what they're dealing with and what sort of response they can expect. To be consistent, you must be reliable. And you must ensure that even if your mood goes up or when it goes down, it doesn't impact how you affect and how you treat other people. Take a moment to try to be consistent in your day. It's okay to have feelings of anger, sadness, happiness, But more importantly, you have to be consistent in the way you treat and talk to other people. That concludes this week's first part of EQ video tip. Take a look at the tips that we went through today and a few others as well. We'll be back next time with the second half of how to make yourself more likable. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.